Hey, Mommy Gang. We are coming at you from a whole different angle this afternoon. This is a special place in hell, Basic Bitch edition. We have been waiting for our guest, Penelope Trunk, and she's something's happened to her. Something is
She has better things to do.
She's better things to do. You know what? She has prioritized. She has taken care of herself. And she has set boundaries.
100%.
One of the boundaries, and I'm actually in awe of it. I'm like, girl, tell me how to do this. If she came in right now, and maybe she will, my first question for her, I want advice on how to set boundaries. And it's going to start with like not showing up, just like not being here. And I'm totally here for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So what we're going to do is be a totally different kind of podcast. And I'm going to be, what is it? This is not call your daddy, not call her daddy, call her mommy.
Call her mommy.
You're her. I'm calling
you're her.
Oh, I'm mommy.
You're her.
I'm mommy.
Yeah, you're mommy. And I'm calling you mommy.
Okay. So, hey, Mommy Gang. I'm here with Sarah Hayter. And we're just going to get to it. We're going to get real. We're going to do a deep dive into Sarah's life as a mom, because I mean, as our listeners know, you wear many hats, you spin many plates, you do it all, you juggle like so many things, like a cajillion things at any given time. And I think like people are really, really curious. Like they want to know how you do it. Like what's your secret? So I just say we get real and like you tell us how you do it. Like, let's just dive in.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
Megan, do I really have to do this?
Yes, I'm interviewing you.
I'm being interviewed.
Yes.
How do I do it? How do I spin some plates? You know, that's about sex, right? That means I'm having a lot of side pieces.
Spinning plates? No, that's from waitressing. Excuse me.
No, but you know what it is now, right?
No.
That's what it is now. Yeah.
What?
It's when you're spinning a lot of plates, you're like managing a lot of different women at the same time.
Okay.
Or side pieces or men or whatever. I guess in this case, we'll call her mommy then.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've learned a lot. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So why don't you, first of all, because I didn't do any research for this episode, because this is a Basic Bitch podcast. So instead of actually introducing you as the guest, I would like you to tell us who you are, where you come from, why you're on the show, because I have no idea.
Why am I on the show? Why am I on any show?
Well, like, where did you like? How did it all start for you? Like,
how did it all start?
Yeah.
I realized I had gotten to a point in my life where I had given other people a lot, and now it was time to do something for me.
100%.
100%. You know what? She's 30 years old. Alexandra Cooper. Call her daddy. 30 years old. And now she has like the number one.
Wow, that's old. That's old. You shouldn't. Oh, wait. Are you saying like that's young?
I'm saying that's young or that's old? I'm older than her. And look at my failing podcast.
Right. I know. But we're gonna do a deep dive. All right, let's do a deep dive into why we can't succeed. Like call
our show's name is dumb. It's not called Mommy, which is what it should be.
Uh-huh.
We're not that hot. We could be hotter. We don't have any sexy pictures of us, which, as you know, I wanted to fix. I wanted to take some pictures of us, but
yeah,
we weren't okay with it. So
no, I'm really not comfortable with that because I'm a serious public intellectual.
You will need to get extensions.
No kidding.
Extensions.
Yeah, my hair does not grow beyond a certain point. But I mean, maybe we should really get curious about what we're doing wrong and like workshop this a little bit. Like, let's think about it, because obviously the key, it's like, do we want to reach as many people as possible? I mean, this is a fundamental question. Do we want to niche down and just find our audience, go deep, do a deep dive, super deep dive, like that you would need extra special scuba gear, not just normal scuba gear, but like the kind like Navy SEALs, like all the way down, like,
and then you could trap somewhere.
Yes, like the tight, like
those caves,
like on a submersible.
Yeah,
like that level of deep dive.
Right. Never come back out, and then people praise your depths.
Horrible. So yeah, if you and I were in a submersible like for $200,000 a piece and it imploded, they would be having a field day. That our Twitter would
I know.
a national holiday. Okay.
I know.
Okay, so that's one way to go. Go super deep or go super wide, mainstream, appeal to a bigger audience. Don't be so esoteric. Don't be such a hater. Get curious.
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty curious,
but not in the right way.
I'm also a hater.
Yeah.
Can't let that go.
But yeah, I mean, get curious about yourself.
About why
get curious means think more about yourself, not about the world.
Introspect.
Yeah. Yeah. So, maybe you haven't done enough of the work on yourself. Penelope just emailed, by the way. She's going to be home she's going to be back in 10 minutes. She's on her way home in 10 minutes.
It's too late.
It's too late. She's going to come in.
We started. No, she'll come in.
Okay.
Okay. Then this is going to turn into a Penelope. We're going to get trunked. We just got trunked.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So we did ask our listeners for some questions. And we're going to read them. But so we won't give them away yet. But maybe she will have some career advice for us. I mean, she has in the past. I think she thinks we're not doing a good enough job.
I feel like she had great career advice for me. She doesn't know anything about me, and I don't know how interested she is. She's interested in you. I think she thinks you're very interesting.
Oh no, she doesn't. She's
like fascinating, like a cautionary tale kind of. Yeah, but she's like a car crash. She's like can't look away.
I am her personal car crash.
Yeah, but I think that I'm boring. I think that she thinks there's nothing there.
No, but she thinks that you're aspirational. That's what we're opposites that way. People should aspire to be like you. And they should do everything possible to avoid becoming like me.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Well,
so that's the thing. That's why I want the advice, but she's like, you don't need advice. Just shut the fuck up and stop complaining. That was kind of her advice last time. I was like, what should I do? I mean, I want to travel the world and I want to, experience new things and take risks, and my husband didn't see his life that way. And she was like, shut up, you have a good husband.
He doesn't see his life taking, but what do you like having travel adventures, or what do you mean?
No, because he likes this, like, we have a house, we're in the suburbs, this is the life he wanted, and for me it's like I wanted something more adventurous, but I also realized that you can't support a family like that.
Oh, wait, pick a lane.
I know. That was what Penelope had to say.
I'm surprised to hear this because you're so into the being a matriarch.
I mean, it's about the long-term goal. Like, I have to do this in order to get what I want in the end, which is I want a big family. So I have to just shut up and deal with a not exactly what I would want on my day-to-day life kind of lifestyle for a little while, at least, That sucks.
I mean,
even
big
travel
family
is so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I was going to tell you? And I kind of wanted to wait till we were on a podcast, but then we'll have to wait to release this.
Now's the moment.
We'll have to wait to release this until after I'm done, because I don't want any legal problems. And we can cut this part out, but I totally signed up to do an ayahuasca retreat. I'm doing it. When? Gonna do it. I don't know if I want to say.
Come on. You think they're going to come break the door down?
They're going to they're going to figure out that I'm going to be fucked up and barfing and pooping my pants and tripping, right? And they're going to arrest me and put me in jail.
No, we're going to do it as a podcast. No. We are going to be live streaming the podcast while you're doing it.
While I'm doing it?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I'll bring a camera. I'll take a camera in there with me. But anyway, soon. I'm doing it soon. So maybe by the time this podcast is released, I will have finished.
Oh my God.
My retreat. And then I will either have a meltdown, a psychotic episode. I think that's possible. Probably not likely, but it is possible. There is a small chance that you just lose your shit and like
Yeah.
depersonalize what they say. And then some people, I was reading about some people, they had an ayahuasca retreat and they came out and they thought that they were dead. Like they were convinced that they had
Oh,
died.
and they were just like imagining their life. I think that anyway, all the time.
Right.
I don't even
Exactly.
need ayahuasca to
There
think
you go.
that. So, what are you hoping to gain from this?
Um, from the people who I know who have done it, which is actually a lot of people, they have said that the experience helped them appreciate what was important in their life. So it's a good little, almost a self-help thing, you know? Um, and I would like to do that. So one of my friends told me that he, had all these visions of his child
Oh,
and his
yeah.
daughter,
You mean
and
not yet born child? What do you mean?
already
I
born
Oh,
child.
okay. Because I've heard
And
that also.
yeah, and then he came out of it and was very like he felt like he was much more present with her for at least a few months after. I mean, I guess
It's
it
always
wanes at some
just
point.
it always wears off. That is
It wears. I
what
mean,
I've
like
noticed in people.
any a near death experience. It changes you for a little while, and then maybe you go back to your old ways.
I had a
But
near death experience and it didn't change me at all. But
it
yeah,
didn't.
no.
What near
I
death
just
experience?
I stayed the same shitty person I always was. Oh, I just had a freak illness and I almost died about 12 years ago.
Oh,
I was in a coma and stuff.
oh my
And
god!
everyone's
Wait, did
like,
I
"Oh,
know this?
no." Well, I've written about it.
Oh, okay.
You know nothing
You
of
keep
my work.
you just
Okay.
you're always wanting me to read things, and then you're
No,
wanting me to not read your
don't
things.
read it. It's no, I mean, it's not like a near death experience. Like I, saw like it was I was in a coma for about 4 days, and
Oh my
everyone thought
god!
I was going to die. And
What do
yeah,
you
but
remember? Do you remember anything? Did
I
you feel?
remember. I don't know. I remember like having aphasia. I couldn't speak. Like I was. Yeah, I remember sort of being in the hospital and like blah, 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 like trying to
Oh
talk.
no!
And then I don't remember anything after that.
Oh my
I
god!
know,
What was
it's
that
horrible.
like? That's terrible.
Aphasia is terrible. Like
That's
you can
terrifying.
hear
Yeah.
the word, the words you're trying to say, but they won't come out of your
Oh
mouth.
no.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
we
that's
can talk
great.
about this another time.
And it
But
didn't change you.
no,
That's
and I
you're resilient.
actually I wrote and I said, because everyone was like, "Oh, well, now that you survived this, like, are you going to do things different? Like, are you going to be a better person? Are you going to rethink this and that?"
You're like, no, I'm a
And
worse person now.
I mean, and I yeah,
Out of
and
it.
but no, I was like, I actually stayed the same, and like, let's think about it. That actually is the best possible outcome. That you've had this traumatic experience, but you came out of it the same. Like that's
Is that I mean, no,
good.
because you can come out of it appreciating your life
Yeah.
a little more, and then for like 5 months you're like more pleasant to be around, and that's a nice little perk.
I
for
don't know that I
loved
was
ones,
more.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I told you that there was somebody I don't know this person personally, but it was a friend of a friend who had a near death experience like really bad where she was in high school and she was sitting in her living room watching TV and a car crashed in. Like there was a
Into
fence, like
yes.
like some drunk driver like drove through their fence, through their house, like into the front of their house, hit her when she's watching TV.
Oh my
And
god.
she, went into a coma and she was like in the hospital for months and months and she was brain damaged. And she came out of it, according to everyone, a worse person. They said. they said that she had a worse kind of bitter personality.
Well, yeah,
afterwards. And I was like, look, I would too. Okay, I would be like, fuck,
did she recover? Like, I mean, what was the brain damage?
I don't know. But people said that her personality changed and she was like a different person afterwards.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was like because of the near death experience or because of the brain damage.
Well, it does. I mean, that was so when I had my thing, that was the worst part of it was that they were like, because I had a whole bunch of stuff happened. I had meningoencephalitis and I had this septic, whatever. It turned out I had this freak illness, but it caused all these other symptoms. But they were saying like, if she survives, there's a good chance she's going to be brain damaged.
Oh my God.
And my husband, we were like, married for 1 year, thank God, because I had really good health insurance.
Oh my God.
And I mean, he was like, what was unspeakable was that he was like, I hope she dies rather than that, of course.
Not a lot of people would say, of course.
Well, he
but
didn't
yeah.
say out loud that, but
I would agree with it personally.
oh,
but,
totally,
yeah.
100%.
I guess it depends on the brain damage and whether or not you can recover. But
I mean, if it was brain damage, like I wasn't so critical, or I wasn't into like woke stuff so much. I actually think you could have like just the right amount of brain damage
slightly
where you could do a podcast like
call
her daddy.
call her mommy,
Yeah, I think
call her baby.
We could use a little bit of brain damage. So anyway, well, I hope that your experience is fruitful.
What if I come out like not wanting to do anything? That's a possibility. Like I could come out
Not
of it
wanting to do
thinking,
this podcast. Yeah,
quitting quitting
it's
everything,
like why
quitting
you
writing,
realize
quitting writing,
what's
quitting.
important, and it's
Yeah.
not doing podcasts.
Lots of people discover that. Lots of people
Yeah,
find
sure.
out, you know what? I don't want to work anymore.
No, has
go.
anybody ever? Here's Penelope. Has anybody ever had a near-death experience and come out of it realizing that they need to do more podcasts? Hi, Penelope.
You guys, I'm so sorry. And I
Not at
know
all.
Sarah has a babysitter, and I'm just a total
Yeah,
suck up.
it's
I'm
called
really
her. It's called her
sorry.
husband.
It's my husband's the babysitter, so it's okay. We can infringe on his
charges
time.
a lot. No, that's okay. We're rolling. So we're just gonna jump.
Okay.
We're just gonna get right into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm here.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for coming back.
I like
How have you
your
been
hair,
lately?
Megan. I like your hair.
Oh, I
like it too. I like this.
I just put it up in barrettes because just keep it out of my face. My hair is very unwieldy.
Although I like this. I like the swoopy.
I know, but it doesn't. It doesn't stay in
looks
place.
Nice. This is a good and also with the turtleneck, it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You look nice too, Penelope.
Yeah.
Like your hair.
Yeah,
what's new?
it's no kids.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get rid of your kids or what? What do you?
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're in college.
Oh.
Yeah, so you'd think I'd be on time to everything now. What's up with that?
How does it feel?
Okay.
I thought it would be hard. I cried for 2 days.
Okay.
And then I lost 35 pounds. And
in 2 days?
No, in like a month and a half. Like it was so easy.
Because you're getting healthy? Yeah.
Because I don't wake up and worry about how to cope with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I'm pretty
wow.
I wish I could tell you I'm devastated.
But wait, is this the last kid that went to college?
Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
2 at college.
Right. Okay. Wow. All right. Well, so we have questions for you. I mean, we have questions ourselves, and our listeners have questions.
Okay.
I mean, what kind of questions have you been getting from people lately, though, like clients or others? Is there some kind of
Friends,
like anything in the air?
Like my people I talk to are on the forefront of what questions?
Yeah.
No, I get all the same questions all the time.
How to find love,
nice.
how to make more money.
How to solve problems with a career instead of having to do it some other way, and then we just talk about how to do it some other way.
Oh, you mean like lottery tickets?
Well,
what do you mean?
Just like people who are smart or successful, people who are used to succeeding at things are used to doing that by like career type stuff, like achievement type stuff. So I hear from people when they hit a wall.
Oh, well, you've come to the right place. So I don't know. Sarah, do you have a question for Penelope, or should we go right into our
Let's go into the listener questions. Do you want to start with a very long one who is a fan of Penelope's?
You should do the very long one first, because I'm going to want to interrupt at the beginning. Yeah. So I'll take a breath and try to listen to the whole thing, because I know it didn't go over well when I didn't listen last time.
Don't worry. Who cares about them?
I thought it was great.
Oh, okay.
You should interrupt.
I think what matters is how we feel about it.
Yeah.
And I always plug in.
Oh,
you want to stay on
then as soon as I know, it's going to be like Family Feud. Like as soon as I have the answer, I hit the button.
Just buzz. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Megan, you want to read it?
Oh, sure.
I think you're more understandable than I am.
You just texted it to me.
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right.
Start at the second paragraph.
Okay.
Our family.
Our family just moved into a new house. As a family of 5, we're going from 800 square feet to 3,000. We are purchasing the house on a 2-year lease to own option in a neighborhood that is less than ideal. I cannot believe you haven't stopped us yet, Penelope. That is less than ideal.
Well, I heard
And
5 kids, and I'm like, okay.
no, family of 5. No,
Oh,
3
oh,
kids.
oh,
Family
3
of 5.
kids.
Okay. Okay. And they were in 800 square feet and now 3,000. Okay. Purchasing the house on a 2-year lease to own option in a neighborhood that is less than ideal and 20 minutes out of town because it is really the only way we could purchase a home right now. I'm still driving the kids into the city for school, 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back, which seems doable for now. I have a 10-year-old, probably in the best public school in the city. He loves it, and moving him is not an option. My 5-year-old is in private school because he needs it, and I have the 1.5-year-old at home with me. Okay, here's the part I like. The house is great. Mid-century charm,
Okay, stop.
swimming
Just go
pool.
to the question.
Don't stop
Go to the
there.
question.
No, we're talking about the house because this is my show. We're talking about the house.
Okay,
But it needs some work. It needs some work and requires a lot of maintenance. The great part is that my husband can do all of it, but the terrible part is that my husband can do all of it.
Right.
Oh,
Nobody's
we've been
earning
there.
money.
Okay.
Right.
On top of
Doing
running, no,
everything. She's
he's running his own business. No, which is less than 2 years old.
Either he's owning his own business and he can fix the house, and he can't fix the house, or he doesn't have his own business and he can fix the house. Like, just, I'm losing patience. Can you tell me what the question is? Can we?
Yeah.
And then
The thing
go
is,
back and read
okay.
the rest. So
Okay. Well, let's see. The thing is, I'm feeling like this is not our forever home. I'm going to try to skip to the question.
My guess is there's no question.
The question is, do I suck it up and do everything possible to make this feel like home? Do we keep putting tons of money in it so one day, hopefully, I feel like I want to stay here for good? Or do we do the bare minimum to maintain it, get through 5 years, 2 to own plus 2-3 years capital gains, and sell it so that we can move back where sports, schools, work? All right.
So there's no question.
Well, I mean, the rent to own thing, I don't know
They're
that
in
much
it
about
already.
it.
She's in.
Well, but can they get out? Oh, I see. They
They're
can get out
already
of
in
it.
everything. They can't.
Right.
She doesn't have any choices, so that's why I knew there'd be no question. There's no question. What would the question be?
So what does she want to hear from you?
Yeah.
She wants something, right?
She's to hear that she has options, but she doesn't have any options, which is why she doesn't have a question.
Well, no,
we're done.
It's really, she's asking what their attitude should be. Like, should they do everything they can to make the house look amazing, or should they just slog through, do the bare minimum to maintain, get through the 5 years, and then move back to where they want to be?
There's not a pros and cons of that, right? They have to do the bare minimum right now. And so this is only a decision in like 3 years when they've done the bare minimum, and then they're deciding, are they going to do more in order to sell the house? But in 3 years, they're going to have a shit show on their hands because they've got 3 kids in 3 different schools. So there's no question. She doesn't have a question. Her question is, can you validate that I have options in my life? And the answer is no. You have 3 kids, and you already made the house purchase. So no, the answer is no. You have no options. You used them up.
Okay, but you're gonna like her last line.
Last
line is, thanks so much. You are truly and actually, all caps, the most interesting woman in the podcasting world, Penelope. So is that still your answer?
It just makes me anxious because I don't have a podcast, right?
In our podcast world.
Yeah, well, you're a guest.
Nobody would,
unless this is
at this point, no one in your audience would ask a question unless they like me, right? The people who are totally
some of them hate you for sure.
But yeah,
but
they're not going to ask questions because it's like then they're being vulnerable to someone they hate. Terrible. So I already knew, she probably liked me.
Okay.
So no, no choices.
Well, actually,
no choices.
I think maybe this was addressed to Sarah. You are the most interesting person in the podcasting world because this was emailed to Sarah. This question. So
no. I mean,
whatever.
It's okay. It's okay because even if I were the most interesting, I'm only in it with Sarah, so Sarah's the most interesting.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean, but
Okay.
this is something that I actually have been thinking about a lot lately, this distinction between asking for advice versus asking for permission, because I am very aware of this in myself, that I will go to people ostensibly for advice when I really just want them to give me permission for what I'm already going to do.
But that's not really
Mm.
permission. That's like, what's the word? Like, a gold star. You want a gold star. Because
But I mean,
you don't need, I mean, you've already, people who ask these kind of questions have already done everything. So it's too late for permission.
okay. But I mean, if it's sort of like, should I do this? It's more like, I'm going to do this and I want you to make me feel
Right. Could I
less
feel good
anxious
about it?
about it.
Yeah, gold star.
Right.
That's what a gold
Right.
star
That's
would
what a
be.
gold star
Right.
is.
So we
Sure.
all want gold stars and nobody's giving them out. But this is why you shouldn't put girls in school, because it trains girls to want gold stars, and it's not how the world works.
Mm.
Boys
So
don't
what do you do
care.
with a girl?
Boys don't want gold stars.
That's true. That's
Mm.
true.
But
Okay.
I mean, we all want gold stars. It's really sad. We need to find our own like gold star producer. Like we're Sneetches. You know that book, The Sneetches. They make gold
No.
stars.
Oh,
It's a doctor's
but do you?
book. You have to produce
do
your own
you?
gold stars for yourself. No one's giving
You're
them out.
right. Maybe that could be merch.
You know, I
Oh my
like
God,
when people do
buy
the
gold
opposite of a
stars.
gold star.
Yeah.
That's what I actually respond well to that. I respond well to somebody telling me, you know, shut up.
But
and
I
suck it
feel
up
like
and-
you
and-
wouldn't do. I
Wait,
feel like
what?
Sarah would not ask
What do
for
you mean?
permission.
I don't like the gold stars.
Oh, that's not true.
No.
Not true.
Are you sure?
Well, because you care a lot about if you're setting your life up well, if you made like right because of the stage you're in, you care a lot about decision points for the stage you and your peers are in. Yeah.
Do I? I don't know if I do. My peers are not.
She doesn't care about her peers.
Yeah, I don't care about my peers, and I don't know if anyone is at the stage I'm in.
Well, you
At my
you
age.
care that you made a good decision with your husband.
I think I did.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
care.
I did.
You
I did.
care about that. Like you wouldn't want people to think your family is a train wreck. Like you don't like.
I can't imagine.
I don't know if I
that.
care if people think that. Yeah. I
Really?
think if they think
Well,
that, that's okay.
But you won't reveal anything about yourself on the podcast.
Oh, I do. Just not like super like, okay, I live in this street. Not that kind of detail. Like, that's the kind of detail
I give out my address.
Yeah, Megan gives out her social security number.
Well,
I know. All
okay.
I'll say other things. I think I don't know. I don't think I enjoy getting gold stars. I think sometimes they irritate me if I feel as if I haven't earned it, and then I get it, and that irritates me.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
that's not
we want
earning.
gold
Yeah,
stars
right.
from people we want gold stars from.
Right. I guess I always thought a gold star was somebody patting you on the head after you did something. I'm talking about like, I'm going to do this thing and I feel like I shouldn't do it, or I'm going to spend money on something and I feel like I maybe shouldn't, and I want to get somebody's permission to do it.
External validation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all want that.
And it's a parentifying thing. So
it doesn't have to be though.
But I think, like, because there's people in my life, there's like a very small handful of people that I, for some reason, have projected like parent role onto, and I want them to approve of what I'm doing the same way like I would want my mother to.
Most people won't tell you if they don't approve. It's because it's not worth it. Like the conversation.
Well, true. That's true.
One person I'm thinking of would be like, well, why are you doing that? Have you looked at, blah, blah, blah. Are you just being lazy? Are there other things you could do? And then I get irritated because I don't want to.
Well, that person really cares about you, like genuinely, because they're saying that. Because I think that's true. It's Penelope's right that it's not worth it to do that to knowing that there will be some pain that you get for it.
Yeah,
it really is something that I would do only if somebody was paying me to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna really try not. No, I'm. This is something I'm thinking about a lot. I'm gonna try if there's something I want to do and I'm feeling like apologetic or somehow like I shouldn't do it. I just need to like sit with myself. I need to get curious about why I'm so embarrassed about it. No, I need to really think like, what, maybe I just don't need to discuss it with anybody. Just do it, you know?
Wait, like what
why is that
kind
so
of
hard?
thing do you do that you don't think you should be doing?
You know, it's like, should I hire somebody? Should I spend money? It's usually around money. Like, should I spend money on a consultant for my business because I think it's going to do this, this, and
Yeah,
this?
well, we don't
And
care
then
about validation for that. That's
well, I do. It's all money. It's all wrapped up in money for me.
But your money is something else for you because people don't validate other people's money's decisions. They're too personal.
Well,
people don't, or people like can't.
They
validate.
don't, it's not even an interesting thing to do. Like, it's not a good question of our friends. It's not a, like,
well,
how could we ask that? It's much, what we want validation for is something that people perceive they can validate.
Okay.
Which
Can we get into another question?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is a good question. I think this might be the best question.
Let's do it. Okay.
I'm mid-20s and gay, but I have a very low libido.
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 Libido?
No, you've done this before, correct?
Pretty French.
Before. Libido. I like it, which I believe is incurable. I'm not going to go into why. Let's just take it as a given that I will always have a low libido no matter what. I've been wondering if I should maybe just give up sex forever and instead marry a woman who fully understands the situation but is willing anyway for whatever reason of her own in order to raise a family. Is this an insane idea?
Well, why can't you just do that with a man?
I'm sure it's a little harder.
Because he wants to have a conventional family.
Yeah.
It's easier.
It's easier.
Getting married and being sexually attracted to people isn't about libido. Like, it's about like a really deep caring for someone that will get you through how hard it is to stay with someone. So you don't need to have sex with the person to feel that deep connection. And you can, like, half of the world's married women are giving blowjobs when they don't want to. So you can just do that with whoever you're with. Like, who cares? It's like such
like at that point, can't you just have a very good, like, if it doesn't matter, if sex is not that important to either party, why wouldn't you just marry your best friend?
A marriage of convenience.
It's not just sex. It's like holding someone when they're sad. It's being happy for someone when they get a good haircut because they look cute. It's
I don't think any husband has ever expressed happiness at his wife getting a haircut. Maybe like 3 weeks later.
They're happy that their wife is good looking. For whatever reason that might be happening.
A visceral caring for the person. So you don't have to, like, want your penis in someone to have that visceral caring. And, like, there are multitudes of levels that are easier to do. It's just like it's easier to marry someone who has your same religion. It's possible not to, but, like, all things said and done, it's easier. So if you're looking for, is it easier to just marry a woman, or is it easier to just marry someone you're attracted to but don't want to have sex with them? It's the second.
But it's going to have a harder time finding a man who is willing to have a sexless marriage than a woman.
Doesn't have to be sexless. I don't understand. Can't he give blowjobs?
He doesn't want to have sex.
Yeah,
but why have the extra? He doesn't want to give blowjobs.
Well,
he wants it off the table.
Does things for a marriage that they don't want to do. Everybody.
Well, so you don't have to.
Blowjobs. I feel like great.
Look,
if you're making a trade, blowjobs is so easy. It takes like 5 minutes, 10 if you're bad at it.
5 minutes. I would thought you were going to say it takes like 17 seconds.
Okay, so that's an awesome trade-off.
Until you get older.
So
you get older, it's like
everyone who's making
minutes.
a trade that hasn't already offered up blowjobs should offer up blowjobs. It's so much better. So it's easier for that person to offer up blowjobs to someone who they're just moderately attracted to than to offer up something harder to someone they're not attracted to.
But don't you know people who, I mean, there have been these kinds of marriages forever. I mean, gay people have have been in heterosexual
We know a lot
marriages
about
for
marriage now. We know a lot about what holds a marriage together through difficult times. So in a situation where people are equals, so you can't keep someone in a marriage because they have no rights, it's much different. So if
Mm.
both people can leave, you need like things that are the glue for the marriage.
Mm.
I think the issue is going to be like it's not fair to the woman to deny her like an erotic romantic experience. Like
Okay,
she's going to be
that's
super
great.
settling.
That's the first year. The 20th year,
Right,
no
exactly.
one is having
Exactly.
erotic
Right.
romantic.
But how is he going to find like we were saying before like a lot of women would be lucky like if they really want to have a family, this could be an ideal situation for them.
Oh, we're not talking, but we're coaching this one guy. So for this one guy, his
Would
life
your answer
will
be
be
different
easy.
for a woman? Would your answer be different if this was
No woman would ever say this. No, the woman would just be like, fine, I'll just put up with sex. Women have been, think of like, remember that New York Times article where girls were giving, like, it was a trend, high school girls get blowjobs, so the boys just kept
Rainbow
hugging
party.
them.
Was this the lipstick?
Yeah,
The different color lipstick?
so like, it's just not that big a deal. Like when you're in your 20s or when you're not married, maybe it feels like a big deal, but sex in marriage is a big deal when there aren't other pieces of glue. And people don't cheat because like the sex isn't good in their marriage. That's not why people cheat.
Well,
Well,
they
they cheat if
because
there's no sex.
they don't feel
No,
appreciated.
they don't. They cheat if they don't feel appreciated.
But
Right.
that's all of a piece. I mean, I don't know. I think sex if there's an imbalance, it can be a huge deal. I mean, that can
No,
really
there
loom
are
over
a
a marriage.
million pieces of a marriage. Sex is one of them. If sex were all you needed for a marriage, there would be no divorces.
Of course.
So
well,
it's just one little piece and it doesn't weigh as much as the other things weigh. But because people who aren't married can't imagine the other stuff because they haven't engaged in it, they give too much weight to sex.
I think maybe women in general don't give enough weight. Like in the
Enough
sense
for
that
what?
I think for men it matters more. That
yeah, I
there
think
is like a
women need to
very
understand.
healthy, vigorous like sex
Yeah.
life
Just
and
doesn't
their desire.
irrelevant. This is all irrelevant. If you have 2 kids and you're middle class, you don't have enough money to make these decisions, right? You can't support 2 households. So you just have to deal with it.
Wait, what does that have to do with his question?
With this guy though, he's not yet in the situation. So he's trying to figure out what kind of situation to get himself into. So he can be in that kind of situationship, whatever. Yeah. Like he can be in this arranged kind of marriage with a woman who he might appreciate a lot as a person. They might be good friends.
Yeah.
But
they
there's
could be
no
partners.
romantic.
They're life partners.
No.
I mean, he doesn't want to be gay married, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think
he wants
that's
to be
problem.
heterosexual
I
married.
think he wishes he weren't gay. So that's a separate issue, right? He didn't ask us about that.
Yeah.
But that's obviously the problem. And so he's not going to solve that by getting in a sexless marriage. It doesn't make him not gay.
I think aspiring to get in a sexless marriage is a
good goal.
I
marriage and be gay. It doesn't make you not gay to not want to have gay sex. Just like it doesn't make you not straight to not want to have sex with.
No, exactly. Even the conversion therapy people knew that. They weren't trying to get people to be ungay. They were just trying to get them to not do gay acts.
So he's gay and he should go be in a relationship with a guy and being gay.
And try to find somebody with the same sex.
He needs to find another low libido guy.
Gay is not only about gay sex; it's a whole, and so he needs to deal with all that.
I think
more on that.
Yeah, I mean,
is that an unsatisfying?
Well, somebody. Okay, well, actually, let's read the response. There was a response in the comments to this guy, which is not addressing his question at all. But I wonder what you guys think of this. Okay, so somebody says, "Oh man, I can't recommend the heterodox space for gay men finding themselves. Period. Funny question for Penelope, though.
Wait, why can't he recommend that?
I think that
Because there's not enough gay men finding themselves.
He
The
answered
heterodox
the
space?
same way I did. The person gave the
because
answer.
because this guy is asking this question in a heterodox space, so I think the
What?
response
This isn't a
is saying
heterodox space. I have a son who's gay and a son who's trans. I resent.
that's not what heterodox means.
What?
No, they mean like the intellectual, like diversity, viewpoint diversity space.
Yeah, I
That's
get it,
what
but why is he assuming I have that?
He means like the podcast.
He means us in our
Okay,
comments.
well, I
Okay.
resent that. I've already dealt with conversations like touching on all of this in my family. So no.
Okay, well, he says, have you gotten connected with any local gay groups? Maybe a gay board gaming group. Okay, kill me
That's
now.
just totally stupid.
Lots of friendships can be made in a low pressure setting. You're aware of the large group of gay men who identify as, quote, sides because they don't enjoy penetrative sex.
This is all totally stupid. This is the dumbest conversation ever. Everyone can identify that the guy doesn't know himself and he can't figure out how to get to know himself better. Everyone's identified that. So he can just decide if he wants to get to know himself better or project to everybody that he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's young. He's in his mid-20s.
Well,
I love the last line. We'll move on, but the last line, this guy says, or woman, I don't know, Sam is the person responding. The Munchausen women love a forever sick boy to nurse back to, quote, health. Don't
just
let it be you.
grasping at straws.
That's good.
Just grasping at straws. He's
Okay.
got to just
All right.
with that he's gay. It's okay to be gay. It's 2024. Just be gay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's super cool to be. It's
hip to be gay.
You know what? It's retro to be gay. It's hip and retro.
Well,
okay.
It's hip to be asexual or whatever the fuck he's.
Well, he sounds like he is asexual.
Right. He's an asexual gay man.
Okay. Okay. All right. Was there another one, Sarah?
Yeah, there were at least a couple others that we want to discuss. Should I read it? Okay.
Sure.
Me and my partner are planning on having a child or two within the next 5 years. She has concerns about societal collapse and climate change disasters, making raising children extremely
climate change disasters.
We've already had this question.
No.
Well, so this is fresh. So she has these problems, but he is concerned that our child would befriend dumb losers. Both of us are concerned about having to rely on a public, in-person early education, fearing that our child will end up not being taught, constantly getting sick, and having a harder time later in school. At the same time, though, we're nervous that remote learning might be isolating, and have heard that a lot of remote/homeschool parents are made up of overly religious people, anti-vaccine people, and other granola core oddballs. Which one of us has better concerns? Any tips for planning to have and raising a young child would be appreciated.
They should just have the kid.
That's what I
all
said.
the stuff.
They should also
they will just not care about any of this, and they sound insane. And I hope to hell that they're young because this is so stupid.
They also need a grammar lesson.
They're not. I don't even think they're overthinking because they're not. These are things that require a lot of thinking, which they have like scratched the surface on, so they have something to talk about. They should just have the kids. It's time to have a kid.
Okay.
These are irrelevant questions they will not spend any time on once they have a kid.
But you won't say which one of them has better concerns? Do you think they're both equally bad? Is that your answer?
They're having some.
Their concerns are, what if I can't control the environment around my kid? Is that their concern?
Yes.
Okay, that's true. You cannot control the environment around your kid. That's the reality of the world. And if you can believe that most people are good people, then you can tell your kids they're lucky to be in the world. If you think most people are bad people, well, having a kid will change that.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
Okay.
Good answer.
There's one right after that.
You know what? I don't think people ask real questions.
On our show or ever?
Well, I mean, these are terrible questions, but usually so it works best if you can do a follow-up question like, No, because nobody asks their real question. Remember, you were like, what are questions people are asking? And I said, they're asking career questions, and we end up talking about something else. So like
Mhm.
the kid's question about who should I marry is not his real question. The real question he's asking is, how can I self-actualize? So that's an interesting question. And the person's question about having kids that's not the real question isn't what are the most concerns. The real question is what keeps you from taking action right now? Like, what are the cost benefits of waiting to worry versus having a kid right now? Like, I would guess that the woman is going to end up having the 2 kids after she's 35. So the cost benefit to worrying is low. Like, the cost is high for them to worry.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
like taking it one more step would be much more useful for these people, because they're not really asking their questions. Like, they don't want to answer their real question, right? That the person who's asking about kids doesn't want to answer the question, what's the benefit to not having a kid right now? They don't want to talk about that. And the kid who doesn't want to be gay doesn't want to talk about self-actualization. They just want to be like smarty pants.
Well, I mean, because it makes sense that on the one hand, they see that there's a problem, they sense that there's an issue, and they are taking enough steps to try and address it. But actually getting there and pinpointing your real problem enough to be able to ask the question, that's hard. It's like, it's a human thing. So
Yeah.
what you're doing is like kind of being a therapist
Well,
to a
I
person.
can help them know the question. Like, the question the
Mhm.
first person with the house should ask is, how can I deal with the feeling of being trapped? That's their real question. Like, are all adults trapped? Is this all adult life is feeling trapped? That's the question.
Mhm.
So
That's yeah.
that's what we all need help with, is asking the right question. Because probably those people, I mean, those people would probably like to talk about those topics. That would be
Hmm.
my guess.
Do you guys feel trapped?
I do sometimes.
Yeah. We're all trapped. Adult life is about either having nothing or trapping yourself with what you have.
I feel so much less trapped as an adult than I did as a child, though.
But you don't have anything. We get to this every time.
I know. Thanks.
So
That is music to my ears.
so it's like,
You're
it's just a trade-off. And so she has 3 kids and a house and a husband with limited earning capacity. So she's very
well, I have
trapped,
that.
but she has a lot of things too.
Okay. We're going to get to this. All right, let's do this one. I don't know if this is going to be answerable. Envision a long-term relationship between an attractive, intelligent woman who is spoiled, unambitious, with inherited money and doesn't have to work, dating a man who has 2 young kids and a blue-collar job, very intelligent but similarly unambitious. Both have egos, thank God,
Why are
but
we
one
envisioning
partner,
this? Why?
I think it's a movie. I think it's a screenplay pitch. No, this is a question. Both have egos, but one partner is more accommodating than the other. Penelope, are you creative enough to come up with a scenario where it works? Or is anyone creative enough? Or is there no such situation? Wow.
Well,
This is
the
like
person who asked is not being honest with themselves. So they shouldn't, they already know that they shouldn't be in this situation. So they're not going to get external validation for them being in this situation. And also, they should work on themselves and stop talking about their external like bullshit situations they get themselves into.
What, can you be explicit? Why shouldn't they be in this situation? It's obvious to you, but why
Well, they explained
make
it
it obvious?
in an unpleasant way. So they answer their own question, right?
well, but at least she has a boyfriend. Should she just be alone? And he has a job.
Well, she didn't say anything nice about the situation. She didn't. I mean,
He's
I
intelligent.
didn't know if it was the girl or the guy.
It's a woman. It's a woman.
It's a woman. It's a woman, but the, and she's kind of in a position where she has inherited money, doesn't have to work. Now she's gonna date
So
a
I
blue
don't
collar
believe
guy
it. Okay,
who's
I
also
don't believe it.
intelligent.
I don't think she has enough money to be with this guy.
I know women. Oh, I know women who've dated those guys. Look,
Yeah, I know.
depending on where she lives,
No, she doesn't have
it's
enough
hard to find
money
a
to
guy.
date him because in order to do things with him, she has to do them with his kids. And the kids will cost more and more money to get them to do things with him. And she's not thinking of any of that. So because she's not thinking of how her money will be in the marriage, I know she doesn't have enough of it.
Interesting.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure she's paying for everything. I guess she does not have kids.
She just doesn't have enough money for this situation to not impact her.
Okay. Well, she's unambitious, so
It doesn't matter.
gotta have some
She's
money.
not going to be financially independent in this situation because she can't buy her way out of family conflicts. She doesn't have enough money for that.
Okay. Well, is she a founding member? If she's a founding member of this podcast, then she has enough money. We're gonna check. I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna look her up and see what level she pays at. That will answer the question.
But that's a great point because when she's just herself, she can be a big spender for just her. That's why she's feeling so smug in the question, but she just doesn't have enough money for the situation.
Okay. All right. So there's one question here that I ask myself all the time.
Wait, I just thought that would be a good the follow-up question for her would be getting at why does she need to be in a relationship where she can control everything? And to show her that if she wants that, she actually can't get anything except like really dysfunctional people because of what she brings to the table. So she's much better off like looking for something different than that. And then we talk about what else there is besides her trying to control something with her not enough money.
Right. Yeah, no.
Wait, why is she trying to control it? How do we know that
she doesn't want to do what he wants? I think she's probably the less accommodating one. She probably doesn't want to do the stuff he wants to do, and she probably doesn't want to hang out with his kids as much.
Well, the plus when she's like envision blah 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 blah, she's making it sound like there's a benefit. She has a benefit going into this relationship where she has money and does not have to depend on him, but it's not a benefit because you're getting a whole family. And so she's like trying to hold on to control and still get something, which you can't do. So she needs to understand her need to control.
Okay.
There you go.
Maybe she should go with the gay guy. I mean, maybe we could set them up. Okay. All right. So this may be the last question, but I feel like there's a lot to unpack here. What should an aging, single, childless guy do to prepare for not having kids to help with my affairs when I'm too old to navigate life?
Who cares? Like, what's the driving force of that?
Well, I ask myself this question all the time. So I'm not going to have anyone to take care of me. So I need to have my financial house in order.
Right? You can't buy someone who want to take care of you.
Take precautions.
Well, there's not enough
certain
money.
investments.
There's just not unless you have the kind of money where what you need to be able to do is marry a girl who's really young, who will take care of you till you die and leave her all the money. That's the best way to get someone to care for you. So since this guy doesn't have that kind of money, he should just punt. Nobody's going to care for him when he's old.
Even if he did have
fucking get married.
I don't know. But
is that his real question?
Well,
why didn't he get married?
What's his real
Why didn't
question?
I get married?
Well,
what's his real?
Either he's genuinely cares about people caring for each other. This is a genuine thing he has, and then he should get married now and commit to someone and they care for each other. Or he doesn't give a shit about that, and then why does he think he's going to give a shit about it when he's sicker? He's not.
But I think they're practical questions. I mean, I think about this
Well, as a practical
despite having,
question, you
yeah.
can't buy someone you can't pay someone to care about you.
I don't think he's asking for about a relationship necessarily. He could be asking for like investment advice or like, should I have a,
Why
you
does he
know,
need investment advice? He can just run out of money. Just be in like an old people's home.
well,
Like who
a bad one.
who
Yeah.
cares? Why would that
Okay.
matter?
So but
What
I
would
think
be
it's
bad
interesting that
about
you
it?
defaulted to thinking this was a relationship question.
No, I think it's a question about how will I make sure there's someone to care for me?
And
Otherwise,
you think that there's no way to do that?
no, you can't buy that. And so then uh it's a finance question he doesn't need.
I don't know.
I mean, he just doesn't have anything at stake. Like,
Mm.
who cares if he loses all his money? So then he'll just be eating a not as good dinner while he's aging. I mean, I don't.
I mean,
I think he's sad about that,
I think
and
about
that's
killing
it.
myself I mean, personally, I hope to be able to kill myself.
Oh,
I've been very
so
open about this.
You think it might be though if you're too old to navigate life, maybe you're too old to kill yourself.
Right? You got to get it right. No, we had an entire conversation about this in the last Unspeakeasy retreat. It was fascinating.
well, I just don't think it's like, should you kill yourself and when should you kill yourself is not that interesting a conversation.
I think it's fascinating.
Well, there's no cost to making a bad decision.
Well, you can mess up. You can try to kill yourself and not do it
That's
right.
not should you or shouldn't you. That's just like, what are the most effective ways?
Mm-hmm.
So
There's no cost, you think, for people in this situation.
yeah,
But
if
there
you
is a
have
cost.
nobody who loves you, there's no cost for you killing yourself. You can just do it whenever you want. If you don't feel loved by anyone, if you don't feel like you love someone else and you want to stay alive for them, and you don't feel like you're hurting someone by killing yourself, then just that's what makes people commit suicide. Like, I feel like there should be a trigger or something. I think most people are very loved by someone in the world, and it's like a sickness to not be able to see that. Okay, so I don't want to like tell someone to go kill themselves right now.
Yeah, and I'm being very clear.
Okay.
I'm not talking about killing yourself because you're depressed. I'm saying if you are in the end of your life, if you're dealing with a terminal illness,
Okay, so I don't think
if you are in that situation, I think you should be able to
whatever you can
control
just
your
go buy a
demise.
gun. Like, I don't think it's an interesting conversation. That it's like so personal, and we don't know what that feels like, what that end of time feels like. We don't know when it'll come. We don't know who will love or not love during that time. So just whatever. When you get there, you get there. You'll know it.
But do you really think that there aren't some people who really just do better alone?
Sure. We're answering questions. We're just answering these questions. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I'm asking you separately. I think this. I mean, we're out of questions for the moment. I mean, since the answer. Yeah, sorry, we're moving on from this question. But like, since the answer keeps circling back to relationships, what about people who would genuinely say, I don't want to be in a relationship? Do you not believe them?
No, there's this guy I coach who so when you get your cancer like MRIs read, usually somebody just at that hospital does it, but sometimes there are ones that people can't read, and they like a lot of them go to this person, and all he does is do life or death readings on these results, these test results.
Wait, he's a doctor?
Yeah, he's but his thing is he reads x-rays or MRIs or something. I don't know, whatever they're doing. So that's all he does. And he's like one of the best in the world at it. He doesn't want to get married. He's fine.
Mm-hmm. Does he think about his own death?
I don't think he cares. He's just doing his thing. That's what he does. He has a pretty straightforward life. But I don't think those people, like if you're happy where you are, you don't ask questions of people about your life. And the more simplified a person's life is, the more likely they are to be happy with it. So he has a really simple life. he's doing something really meaningful. He's very important. He makes enough to support himself, and he wants to be alone.
That sounds great, but yet he's working with you, so he can't be that happy with his life.
Oh, you needed coaching on a family thing, like his extended family issue.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't care about my own death if I didn't have like a family to live for.
Well, I think it's a
suffering,
keep
not
I don't
death
even know.
itself.
First, you make it so you don't have people, but it's like, I don't know.
I mean, there's a possibility that it maybe it just wouldn't work out. I mean, there are lots of people like that for whom they just don't find the right person, or
No,
they take the wrong advice.
No, you can find someone. If you want to find someone, you find something. You find someone. But I just don't think the discussion of death is, there's no stakes to it. There's nothing at stake. So I don't think it could ever be interesting, except if there's somebody who, like, you know, in the like right to kill yourself thing, you know, that discussion. But I think that's more political than ethical.
Well, I mean, I do think as the baby boomers age, this is going to become a major civil rights issue. I mean, you have not had people living so long. There hasn't been so much technology keeping people alive.
Okay, but that's
people
all
haven't
political.
been so alone.
Right? It's a political resolve. It's political resolve. Like, who can bring that? Who would benefit politically for bringing that up? Probably
Well, nobody. Exactly.
So
I mean,
we're
there's
not
all kinds of
gonna
issues
have
like
that.
that, but I think it's important.
Well, there's a ton of things that are important that people don't benefit from bringing up politically. So I don't think that one's at the forefront. I think probably things that impact people for more than 10 years is at the forefront.
I think it'll become politically important. It'll start because they're going to become a drain on resources.
Yeah, and anybody who's gone through this with a family member or a loved one understands the importance.
I mean, that's why MAID is an issue in Canada, and that their public services are kind of stretched to the limits, and that's why they're bringing it up.
Well,
right, an issue.
Okay.
But that's different. This is a separate discussion.
If there's political resolve, that's because there's not a big conversation about it. So I guess I just think it's not that big a deal. It's a big deal politically, but not a big deal in our lives individually. Because you can already get enough medicine to kill someone.
But I'm very aware of not wanting to burden people around me when I get old.
That's like,
forget the suicide thing. I'm not talking about that.
It's like,
but I think that's part of this person's question. Like, how do you set yourself up?
You're not going to be a burden because no one cares.
Well, somebody's going to have to. I mean, your neighbor somebody is going to have to step in if you don't have stuff in place.
Okay.
Look, I don't even have any nieces and nephews. Okay,
you cannot be a burden to someone who doesn't love you.
Well, you're going to be a burden on the state. You're going to be a burden on your book
but they're
club.
Doing their jobs, right? Like,
right. But
our state is set up to take on that burden. So
okay, but I think that these are whatever. I know you don't like this topic, but I think that these are very fair questions because more and more people are going to be in this situation. Even if they do have kids. By the way, so many kids are disabled and not able to take that on.
Questions. That's the thing. Like, just because you're verbalizing your worry doesn't mean you have a question.
That's true.
You're just being like, yeah, I do worry about that. Okay, fine. You don't worry that much or you'd get someone to love. So no, that's not at the time.
I don't know why my dating profile didn't work because I was just like looking for somebody who will like euthanize me or like wipe my ass when I'm incontinent. I don't know why I'm not getting any hits. So
that's why I can tell you're not that worried.
You know what I don't like is the idea that solving these problems requires like finding somebody that you're going to sleep with and have sex with.
They don't.
Like these are two separate things.
Require you to just get a shit ton of money. But you aren't getting that. So now you're just verbalizing the worry, but like whatever.
Right. But I don't think looking for a boyfriend is the answer to this particular worry.
I know. Yes. You're not asking for advice. I know. So that's why I'm saying it's not that interesting. Like, you're just worried about who will care for you when you're old. And like, okay, obviously nobody. So
Sarah will.
I'll do it. I'll
She
step
has
in.
to. Yeah.
yeah. So
I'll do the job. No one else is.
We're gonna live
like
stream
like all good immigrants.
Yeah, exactly. I have hired
I'll step in.
they'll be like, I couldn't get a Jamaican, but I got Sarah. So
okay, so this is what I think are good questions for the world to ask is questions about like at the core of what bothers us, like that are like self-actualization questions where we're dealing with the disappointment of what our own self-actualization looks like, which is like the process of growing up. And like the more you see who you are, the more it's difficult to see who you are, but we want to see more of who we are, but we're scared. Those types of questions seem interesting. I'm not sure like what else would be interesting if we're asking people questions about ourselves.
Maybe questions that relate to others or how we treat others. Like, how do you feel about, say, like family estrangement? How do you feel about, we just don't get along? Me and my brother, me and my sister, whatever, we just don't get along. We fight all the time. And so we've decided, or one party has decided, they're not going to be in contact.
Yes, as an act of self-care. This is a big thing now.
The question is that, do you have a duty to your family member that is greater than, your like comfort, I guess, or the fact that they're kind of a nuisance all the time?
So would someone else answer your question if you have a duty? I mean, if we're talking about like philosophical duty, that's not really a question for another person. That's like you want to have a philosophical treatise on it. You're asking this philosophical question of yourself and then thinking about answering it philosophically for yourself. It's not really a what do you think type of thing. Like then
okay, then give me an explicit question that is a what do you think kind of a question.
I put my lease in my kid's name and I totally fucked him over and I'm stuck on how to unfuck him. And I think it was probably unethical, but I'm also not sure if what I feel capable of fixing things. So a question would be, can I find a way to be better in this situation that I could feel actually capable of doing? Can you help me think of alternatives to what I've done so that I can be a better person in this situation? That would be a question.
Sort of a living amends kind of thing.
No, like actually fixing the problem. I still have the problem.
Oh, the specific problem.
Yeah, the specific problem, like I made a mess of. I've had everyone I've asked, the solutions have been really hard for me to hear. And just the whole thing is hard for me to face. So if I'm talking to somebody and saying, can you help me review options in a way where I'm going to be able to face my own reality of what I'm going to need to do? I think that's a good question. I haven't asked it because I'm scared of the answer. But that would be a good question.
So what would you would answer to yourself in that case? You already know the answer to this question, and I'm not even going to answer it.
What? No, I don't know the answer. I don't.
But you just don't like any of the options.
I'm scared of the whole problem. Kind of like the kid who's gay is scared of the whole problem. The woman who doesn't feel like she has any options is scared of the whole problem. But
so your real question is, why are you scared of this problem? There's some inadequacy you don't want to address.
Because I'm not sure how grown up I am, how big a grown up I can be It scares me.
But so obviously there are emotional issues that are underlying this, because otherwise it would just be a bureaucratic mess.
Right. Right. So it's
Something
having
much
someone
bigger than
help
that.
you sort out, like, what's real, what's in your head,
Yeah.
what is true about this. If you're looking like just passionately, what are some options? Like, these are all really hard things to see when you're in the equivalent of, that's my equivalent of the people who have been asking these questions. That is the part of your life that's really you can't sort out. You're not sorting it out very well.
So this is like therapy. So is this what you think you do? Is this your this is the main meat of the service that you provide, which is that you will help people get to the real question? Or is that an
People don't know their real question.
Yeah, or is that an annoyance and you really do want them to get to the question and you want to help them with the actual question?
People don't know their real question, and their friends won't tell them their real question because it's so hard. So knowing the real question is very useful, but then we feel sick having to face that question. We need time, I think, face that that's our question. I think we have cognitive dissonance for like seeing our real question, because if it weren't hard for us to see it, we'd just be answering it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's true.
Do drugs help?
I don't know. I mean,
like psychedelics or SSRIs?
Psychedelics.
I don't know. Did you not know? Did you have a problem you couldn't solve, and then you took psychedelic drugs and you could solve your problem?
I have not yet had that experience. No, but I've heard from people who have.
I think that the psychedelics solve systemic neural problems, don't they? I think that's what they solve.
No.
And we're talking
about... People say that it helps you step away from your own ego, right? So the central problem, which is that people are afraid to face something, if you step out of your own like personhood for a little bit, you'll more clearly be able to see that problem.
Well, I find people can do that if I'm on the phone with them. They can do that. They don't need psychedelics.
So you're like an ayahuasca.
You're like a trip.
But I'm not. Yeah. But I don't. The hard part, I don't think, is hearing the problem. The hard part is taking the action. I mean, I don't know. I just am struck by how much these people are not talking about their real problem. And we all have real problems, but they're like hard for us. It's hard. It's hard to articulate a real problem.
Do you think that the thing people are most reluctant to do is getting rid of something, giving something up? Like letting go? Are they just attached? Is it too much attachment?
I guess inaction. A lot of people don't have anything. They're scared to fail. A lot of people are scared to fail, so they don't do anything.
Right.
So I think it's both.
Can we get to a podcast again? You gave good advice the first time about how to succeed, but we didn't follow it. And so
I know we tried to get Kamala Harris on, and she said, "No, I'm doing another podcast."
Yeah, unfortunately,
with another girl.
Do we need a gimmick?
What do you mean? Wait.
Like,
you mean how to make the podcast go better?
Yeah. Also, is it because we're chicks? Is it because of misogyny? Like, why can't we succeed in this space?
Is the podcast
no
growing?
It is, but not growing at the rate we would like.
Also, we have to share the money. We have to share, which sucks.
Yeah.
How much money are you making?
Not much. It's pathetic.
I mean, we put most of it back into the show.
Well, because it's their costs to the show itself, like editing costs a little bit. Now we're on video, so it's like other problems. I mean, we make we make more than nothing, which is better than
But it's just,
a lot
it's
of
like,
a lot
it's
of
like,
What are
podcasts
your
make nothing at
no,
all.
it's like,
what
running around money.
But the
It's
amount
not
of time,
anything
the amount
that,
of time
yeah,
that goes into it is not worth the money that we're getting out.
no,
I
so
think that's the
no.
what kind of podcasts, like which ones have you done that got the most new subscribers?
Oh shit. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I have to go because I remember Megan. I had the thing. I have to hop off.
Oh my God. Are
My
you leaving me
husband has
alone with
to.
Penelope?
She can give you great
I'll
podcast
wrap it up with
advice,
her, and
but
then,
yeah,
okay. This has been
yeah.
a
I'm
most
sorry.
unorthodox structure to this
Yeah, I'm
episode. So
sorry.
this is
My
like,
my
no, it's
husband has to
perfect.
run for
It's perfect.
something else that he has to get to. So
All right,
I have to
you
take
hop
the kid.
off. we'll talk about you behind your back. Okay,
Gotcha. It'll fail,
I'll keep
but
Penelope for like another 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap up. So whatever. Okay.
give me a second.
All right. See, this is why we can't make our show work. It's a grind. This new creator space. I mean, as you know,
I
we
know
talked about
it's
it.
a grind. I agree. You have to really love doing it for it's a grind. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I've done this every day for 30 years. It's
Yeah.
really, really hard.
I mean, me too. So the 30-year thing, okay, but so like I've also been a freelancer for 30 years, and I guess I thought that like I was successful when I started out. Like I have been successful steadily, and I thought, oh, well, I'll just get to a point, I'll stay successful. And just the whole landscape changed.
Wait, you didn't tell me what issues do you talk about, or like who's on where you get the most new subscribers?
Well, when we had Syra Rao and Regina Jackson on from the Race to Dinner, that was a big one.
And you got new subscribers from that?
Yeah, but here's the problem. So the way to get new subscribers is to paywall the episodes. But then when you do that, your reach shrinks.
Right.
I mean, I had this problem on my other podcast. So on The Unspeakable, so I've been doing The Unspeakable for more than 4 years. It was mostly free for the first 3 years. Then I started paywalling almost every episode. I would do the Sam Harris thing. I would stop it in the middle, and I would say, like, you got to pay if you want to hear the rest. I got more paying subscribers. I made more money, but the audience got smaller. And when you have guests, it's not fair to the guest. You can't paywall a guest. So now I unpaywalled it and went to YouTube, and I instantly lost a couple $1,000s just overnight.
I think you have to use a podcast as marketing for something else, or get a sponsor.
Well, yeah, I don't have sponsors. I think some of the stuff we cover is sponsor proof, but I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
Well, then I think you have to have it. You sell something else besides, like, the content is what allows people to know you.
I know.
And I mean, I just think that model works better. I don't think there are very many people who actually make money doing their content. I was consulting for this guy who's like getting 1,000 new subscribers a month on TikTok. And I realized that, do you know that TikTok like puts a huge limit on how much money you can make off TikTok? So anyone making money on TikTok is making it off sponsors.
Yeah, well, that's China for you.
So that I think that's the new reality, and you have to either be selling something or have a sponsorship.
Right.
I think you guys are working too hard to put the stuff behind the paywall.
For sure. See, but this is always the thing. It's like, oh, you're going to write your Substack because that's going to be the way you promote what you're really doing. Or you're going to do your podcast. So that's the forward facing part of what you're really doing. Where's the really doing part?
What are we really doing?
So I think you don't have anything that you're selling. So you have to have something you're selling in order to sell it, to make money from it.
Yep.
So I think, I mean, or, yeah, I think opinions, I don't think you can support yourself having opinions unless they're just, you have to be really lucky.
Well, and you have to have very strong partisan opinions. I mean, I think we're too squish. I mean,
It
we're
doesn't
saying, let's look at it
guarantee,
this way,
though.
let's look at it that
Strong
way. Right.
opinions don't
Yeah.
at all
No, no.
guarantee that you. So I just don't. And it's
Yeah.
years and years of producing content. Like, what's the pod guys? What are they?
Oh, Pod Save
Yeah,
America.
yeah. Look how long they had to work before it was really anything, and then they had to tour. Like, that is so shitty to.
Well, I mean, they get to tour.
It's
That's
so awful to tour, and they have kids. It's just a terrible life. Awful, awful life. They had to
I feel sorry
tour.
for them.
They had to.
Yeah, that's my biggest nightmare,
They just.
being them.
It doesn't come easily, the amount you have to invest and not knowing if it's gonna work. Like, they're just like best friends hanging out. Then they were lucky that it took off.
Yeah.
So do you think like a book is not a true, genuine product?
No, a book is so you can get in a speaking agency.
And that's the product. Like that.
That's where money is in the speaking.
Yeah, but they won't. Speaking agencies won't. They need to sell to corporate America that they won't. They don't like our opinions.
Well, you can get opinions on things they do want. Like.
Yeah, but I know, but if you're on record with certain other opinions,
Well,
you're kryptonite.
I don't think that's true. I spoke at corporate America, having written about not having any money and being sexually abused, and they don't care. Nobody reads, so they don't do any research on it.
Yeah,
They
I
just
think
need
those
your
opinions
they
are
need your
okay.
book.
But I think if you're like criticizing Me Too, I think that's not a good opinion. I think the stuff that we do there's an audience for it.
Well,
for sure,
just do the
but
stuff.
they're not going to send you to.
But you can have your
Hewlett Packard
thing, whatever that you talk about, but your book is a calling card for speeches. So if you want to write a calling card for speeches, you can, and then you get speeches. But like, people, I don't think should get paid to just say whatever they want. Like, why wouldn't you just do that for free? People get paid to toe the line. That's worth a lot of money. Somebody who's really smart, who's willing to toe the line.
Right.
That's a good way to. That's a good way to put it.
That's true.
And I think that's true. Yeah.
So we're screwed.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think you guys, if you really wanted to earn money, you would toe the line.
No, we don't really want to earn money. I guess.
Just like, I mean, I don't know. You see,
we obviously like the idea of everything. Like you want it. You want the money, and you want to be able to say what you want to be able to say, or what you want to say.
I mean, but some people can do that. A lot of people are doing
Who?
that.
Tell me one person.
Barry Weiss. I mean,
Who is that?
Blocked. Who's Barry Weiss?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know.
Wow, this is worth the price of admission, folks.
What is it? Maybe I know it. I don't know. What is Barry Weiss?
What is Barry Weiss?
It's a flavor.
All
it's
right,
a flavor of ice cream.
All right, I'm Googling.
Barry Weiss.
RRY. A music executive? Who? Barry Weiss? WEISS? Oh, a New York Times journalist?
Yeah.
Now media mogul.
Oh,
she's a huge,
okay.
huge
You guys,
success.
That's a great example. She towed the line at the New York Times for so long.
No, she didn't. Her whole thing was she didn't.
Okay. You don't know that, though. You don't know what they were asking her to do and what they're not asking her to do and what her role is. And she was at the New York Times for a long time. That's a very political job. It's a lot of bullshit you have to put up with to be there for that long.
No, it's true that she was definitely not fully herself.
I mean, she was at the Wall Street Journal. They hired her knowing she was more on the conservative side.
That's fine.
She was at the Wall Street Journal.
You still have to do corporate stuff to be in corporate. So she's like paid immense amounts of dues in order to be able to have some media thing with just what she wants to say. And anyway, she's going to have sponsors and she'll have to toe the line again. right?
Well, she has donors. I mean, she has funders,
Whatever.
backers. I mean, it's
She
a massive.
Which is the same thing.
Yeah.
You do have to do, even with
Yes,
donors.
she
you do
does have to.
Now
right,
you have,
but,
that's the audience you have to please.
But, she is somebody who has been immensely successful saying her opinions. So that's why I
in the
cited that
same
example.
thing, doing the same thing, dealing with the same corporate bullshit for decades. So not very many people can do that.
I mean, she's not that old, but
Yeah,
okay.
for years. Okay, but I think I get the
She's
general.
been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, well,
I think people underestimate how hard it is to stay in corporate for that long and put up with everything. She had a corporate job.
no, I couldn't take it. I would be miserable. I would rather. I mean, I
So that's
shouldn't
the
say,
price
but
you have to pay,
I would. Yeah, no,
right?
that's fine. I'm willing to pay the
No,
price.
you
I 100.
nobody,
Absolutely.
but no one wants you to. They don't think you can deal with corporate. They wouldn't hire.
No. I'm willing to pay the price of not working in corporate. That's fine.
Yeah. So
That's fine.
that's why I think maybe you guys, you don't want to get paid for your opinions. You want to say whatever you want.
Yes, that's true.
So then you have to get paid a different way.
Only
We're not well.
Well, Sarah gets paid because she's a wife. She doesn't have to make as much money.
I don't know.
And Megan,
That's why I can afford to do this.
and Megan, you probably can get paid as a freelancer. You just have to write stuff you don't want to write.
No, well, no, that not so much anymore. Look, I do fine. I got I'm spinning a lot of plates. Do you know what that expression means, Penelope?
Yeah, I just didn't believe that you were doing it. That's why I had that expression.
I didn't know what I thought it meant you were juggling a lot of stuff. I had no idea it was a sex thing.
But no, because you can juggle relationships.
See, she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
You can juggle relationships. So spinning plates,
I see,
can also mean,
okay.
It's specifying.
Yeah. Okay. We started before you came in. We were talking, and I used the expression "spinning a lot of plates," and Sarah laughed because I didn't realize it was like a sex thing. So it's a player thing. But no, look, I can complain. I enjoy complaining, but I enjoy what I do for the most part, and I'm actually doing okay. It's true that I don't have a husband, but I also don't have kids, so I think it evens out in the end.
I think you guys should take this out from behind the paywall. I think that that one of the most interesting things about your podcast is the conversation you generate, but people can't see it, so they can't get to the most interesting part until,
which is not us.
Yeah. A lot.
Okay, you're right. I agree.
And the paywall is tricky,
and a lot of it's very hard to generate a good conversation. It's a lot easier to have a conversation in a podcast.
But then we would have zero monetization as opposed to the sum that we have, right? Because that's how we're getting people.
Yeah, but we paywall you, Penelope, because you are very popular and you get people to sign up.
You actually get people.
But I offered to do a podcast with you guys, and you said no.
You offered to do it with Megan. Let's be clear. You offered to do it with Megan, which I think if she wants to go down that route, I think that would be a good idea.
No, I do it with both of you. I don't, because I don't want to do one alone. But I think you would make more money if you did one.
But then we'd have to give you some of it. Then we'd be even worse off.
I would never do a podcast to make money, so you don't have to give me the money.
Well, we would have to give you your share. Unless you're just coming in.
No, I make money from
pro bono ringer.
What the podcast generates.
The attention,
and conversation, the massive attention. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
we'll get there with Penelope's help. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. Well, I think we should probably wrap it up. Well, Penelope, thank you.
Okay.
Don't hang. We're gonna stop recording, but don't hang up yet. Like last time, because you got to upload.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, that's good. Okay.
All right.
Wait, do I
Thank
stay
you.
on now?
Stay.
Stay
We're
on.
going to say
Stay
thank
on.
you, but stay. Okay. Thanks, Penelope.
Do I say thank
Thank
you?
you. Thank you.
Thank
You can say thank
thank
you
you.
if
I'm
you
saying
feel thankful,
I
but
always
we're definitely
say,
thankful.
yeah, I always
Okay.
like talking to you guys.
Thanks for coming on.